SNP spokesperson Deidre Brock.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's tempting to forestall and dismantle now any spin the leader may be inclined to bring up on Scottish education issues, given Westminster's shocking record in that department. But following the leader's outburst against Scotland's health service workers last week, I feel I need to clear up a few things as Scotland watches her odd weekly rants, as the Scottish press now dub them, with some concern and alarm. So some useful facts for her and Scotland about the Scottish NHS. Health funding in Scotland is at record highs. Staffing levels also at a record high, with far more staff per head than England. The best performing A&E units in the UK, the highest number of GPs per head in the UK. No prescription charges, and still not a single day lost to industrial disputes in Scotland's NHS. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but as the leader reaches for her latest penny dreadful script, she can rest assured I will always be happy to set the record straight wherever her imagination takes her. Meanwhile, her government plumbs new depths with its immigration panic measures, so damaging in particular to Scotland. One of the Daily Telegraph's columnists, Tim Stanley, has written on this. My friend has messaged me in a blind panic. If you fall in love and marry someone from overseas, do you have to have an income of £38,700 to settle them here? Something like 75% of us earn less than that. Is it fair to limit family formation to the rich? Is it conservative to divide families, he asks. Of course, it's fine if you are rich, it seems, so maybe it is. If we, our children, our grandchildren, fall in love with someone from another country, as so many of us do on our travels, and I'm living proof of that, unless we can guarantee earnings nearing £39,000, they won't be able to join us here. Cue a further exodus of our young people from these shores to other countries with a more enlightened approach to migration and their citizens' human rights. Even worse, those who've already gone through this process and they thought won the right to live here in peace will have to come up with that figure next time their visa is extended. Shouldn't the Parliament have debated these extreme measures first? Can the leader defend this shameful policy, or is she another of the ministers threatening to resign?
Well, I thank the honourable lady. I would ask her to go and have a look at the SNP's record in education. I have spoken about this in the last two previous business question sessions, so I shan't detain the House any longer on it. I think everyone in this chamber is aware of the SNP's appalling record on destroying the education system in Scotland. The only people that aren't are those in charge of it. She raises issues about the NHS and pay settlements, and the theme of her question is really on values and morality. I would ask her, does she think it is moral if a government denied faster NHS treatment to its citizens post-COVID because they didn't want to send them to an English hospital? As I understand that the former Health Secretary made that offer to the First Minister and it was rejected. Is it moral to offer a pay deal, as she boasts, to public sector workers, including NHS workers, without a plan to pay for it? Come to think of it, is it moral to withhold funds designated for business rate relief from those businesses? Would she describe it as moral for a government that denied its citizens the ability to have a civil partnership, she speaks of relationships, with their opposite-sex partner for a year, including those who were terminally ill, because they didn't want the UK government to legislate on their behalf? And I'd just ask her to, while she's looking up their record on education, to also just check how many police concurrent investigations there are into the SNP's antics. Due to the Honourable Lady's party and its antics, her quest to take the moral high ground, I'm afraid, is stuck at a subterranean level. But given that she is also, is standard SNP operating procedure, played the man as well as the ball, I will just set the record straight in terms of my own record with regard to refugees. I spent 2 years, time over 2 years, in the Eastern Bloc after the Romanian Revolution, looking after the most desperate and vulnerable people. More recently, I've spent time on the water in the Mediterranean and northern Libya, tracking migration and people trafficking routes. When I was in Greece and Italy, I saw how the EU's biometric scanners in its southern ports hadn't been even uncovered and unwrapped, and how Europe's security was being failed. And I've opened my home to refugees. I've been hosting a Ukrainian refugee since May of last year, and before that offered my home to Afghan refugees. I can tell her that this issue is one of the most critical facing our country and the world, and that the global rules on it are broken. I've made it my business to understand how we can fix it. That is our duty, and it will take global leadership to do it, to build those tools, to rewrite those rules, and if we do it, I think other nations would follow. I would ask her to really check what her duty is in this manner and consider supporting our legislation.